Okay. All right. What kind of algebraic equation is this? What operation is going on here with the 3 and the x? Is what?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So, in order to solve this, we have to do what? What do we call it? Starts with an I. Inverse operations. And what does inverse mean?
No, wait, no.
The opposite of reverse.
Yeah, opposite operation.
Reverse.
Opposite operation. Yes. So inverse means opposite. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So to solve this, I want to isolate the variable. I want x to be by itself. So I'm going to have to divide by what? 3. So I'm going to divide the left by 3. And remember, if I buy a bag of M&Ms for Campbell, I have to what? Buy it for John. So if I do it to the left, I have to do it to the right. All right? So the 3's over here do what? Cancel out. And I'm only left with x equals 15 divided by 3 is 5. All right? We've done this before, right? Okay. We've done it with whole numbers. We've done it with decimal numbers. And today, we're going to do it with fractions. Okay? It's the last little bit of our algebraic puzzle. Okay? So, the very first problem on your paper does not have whole numbers. Okay? Please listen to me carefully. One of the hardest things for the class before you to get is that you have to get rid of whatever's with the variable, okay? You've got to get rid of whatever's with the variable, okay? You're not messing with anything else unless it's with the variable, okay? So, let's look at the first one. And I'm going to flip my slide just because I want to have some more room. We have 2/3. I did parentheses m equals 14. Okay, does everybody see that on your paper? For number 1. All right, please do not pick up your pencil right now. Okay, I want you to put your pencil down because I want to show you how this is going to work. All right, so what operation's going on here with 2/3 and m? Multiplication. Now we just said, how do I get rid of multiplication?
Turn it to division.
I've got to change it to division. So I'm going to divide the left by what? 2/3. I'm going to divide the right by 2/3. So on the left, what happens to my 2/3 and 2/3? They cancel out, and I'm left with what? M and equals. Which is what I want, right? Because I'm trying to figure out what does M stand for. What is it? Okay? Now, we've got 14 divided by 2/3. Have we done division of fractions before today? Yes, we did it yesterday, okay? What do I have to do to this 14 before I can go any farther? Add a 1 underneath. Now, what's our saying? Keep, change, flip. So I'm going to keep my 14 over 1, change division to what? Multiplication. And flip 2/3 to 3/2. All right? Now, I'm going to use my highlighter again. Can I reduce 14 and 2?
Yes.
Yes. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 14 divided by 2 is
4.
7.
Oh, yes, 7.
So 7 times 3 is 21. 1 times 1 is,
1.
so M equals what? 21. Now, that's a lot of work. Pencils down, please. That's a lot of work, okay? I'm going to show you a shortcut or a trick, okay, that makes this process a whole lot easier, okay? Now, I want you to look here because this is the part that we are going to be focused on. What did we have to do here?
Simplify. No, flip it.
Flip it. What is that flip it called? Started with an R yesterday.
Reverse.
Reciprocal. All right, say it after me. Reciprocal. Oh, that is weak. Let's try it again. Reciprocal.
Reciprocal.
Much better. Okay. So we had to multiply by the reciprocal. Does everybody see this? So I'm going to make all of this smaller because I want you to see that what I'm about to do is exactly what we just did. Okay? So we have 2/3 M equals 14. And y'all told me that this is multiplication. So I've got to get rid of that multiplication. But over here, you told me that in order to get rid of the multiplication, I had to do what?
Divide.
Then I had to flip it. So why don't we skip the divide then flip step and just flip it? Okay? Just flip it. So let's try that. We are going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. Now, multiply by the reciprocal. Multiply by the flip. Because when we divided by the 2/3 over here, we had to multiply by the flip. Okay? So we're just going to skip the division step and go straight to multiply by the reciprocal. Okay? So here, over here, what happens to my 3's? They cancel out. What happens to my 2's? They cancel out. So over here, I'm left with what? Just,
14.
no, what am I left with over here on the left? M. That's it. I have my equal sign, and I have 14. What do I need to do to the 14? Times 3/2. Now, is this step right here the same thing that we had over here? Yes. Okay. We just skipped this part right here. Okay. That's all we did. We took a shortcut. So here, what can I simplify first? The 14 and the 2. 2 will go into 2 how many times? 2 will go into 14 how many times? 7. So 7 times 3 is 1 times 1 is, so M equals, did we get the same answer? Yes. Okay.
Like, whenever you're highlighting it, like by the 2, don't you always put them like how you cross it off and you say
It depends. Like if you had a 6 and an 8, you can divide both of those by 2. So that would be a 3 and a 4. Do you see what I'm saying? Is that your question? It just depends on the number. Okay, I want you to write that on your paper. I want you to work that out on your paper. For number 1. And then we're going to talk about number 2. Actually, when you finish number 1, I want you to go ahead and do number 2. All right, I took it easy on you for number 2. Number 2 is 2x equals 14. So what do we have to do to both sides?
Times it by 2. Right, divide by
Because this is multiplication. I've got to undo it. So I've got to divide by 2. These 2's do what? Cancel out and leave me with
x equals
x equals 14 divided by 2 is 7.
You write 2 mixes.
Oh, I did. Sorry. All right, who needs another second to finish writing that down?
I have no idea.
Okay, we're gonna practice some more. All right, everybody look at number 3. All right, I'll put that back up in a minute if we need it. But I'm gonna move on to number 3, okay? Let's go here. All right, number 3. I'm gonna rewrite it underneath. Just because I don't like the way the Microsoft Word does the fractions. I'm gonna do 5/6 x equals 4. Okay. Since I'm multiplying by a fraction, we know that the opposite of multiplication is what? Division. But if we divide by a fraction, we must what? Nope. If we divide by a fraction, if I have something divided by a fraction, I have to do what? Multiply by the
Denominator? Or no, it's the
by the flip, by the reciprocal. So what are we going to do here? Multiply by the reciprocal. So if I do it on the left, I have to do it on the right. And what do I need to do to the 4? Put a 1 under it. So on the left, what happens to my 6's? Right here.
Oh, they mark out.
They mark out. What happens to my 5's?
Mark out.
They mark out. So I'm left with what?
X equals.
X equals. Can I multiply this? Yep. So 4 times 6 is 24. 1 times 5 is 5. Fractions don't like to be improper, so we need to make our improper fraction glad. So the first step is to go divide. So 24 divided by 5 is 4. Leave that number as your whole number. Always write the remainder as, so what is the remainder? 4. Denominator stays the same. All right, let's look at number 4. I want you to try number 4, and then we're going to go over it. You try number 4 first. Girl, you make it so careless mistakes. This day, friend. All right, number 4. What operation is going on with 3/4 and x? Multiplication. Well, because 3/4 is a fraction, we know in order to solve it, we're going to have to what? Multiply by the reciprocal. So, let's go ahead and multiply by the reciprocal. What happens on the left?
The 4 and 3x out.
So I'm left with,
X equals.
what do I need to do to the 15?
Add 1.
Add a 1. Is there anything that we can simplify before we multiply?
The 15 and 3.
How many times will 3 go into 3?
1.
How many times will 3 go into 15?
5.
So now we have 5 times 4 is
20.
1 times 1 is,
1.
so x equals
20.
20. All right, I want you to do number 5. Yes, sir. Did you go in Miss Morris's room? And you got to go in? It's an emergency? You better hurry. Yeah, I'll bring you in just 1 second. All right, number 5, what are we going to do? What operation's going on with 4 and n? So how do I undo that?
Division. Like the
What happens over here?
cancel out.
So I'm left with,
And equals.
so I have 3/5 divided by 4. Can we do that? Yep. What do we have to do?
Put a 1 over the 4.
I did it.
Keep, change, flip. Keep, change, flip. So 3/5 times 1/4. 3 times 1 is
3.
5 times 4 is 20. So n equals what? 3/20. I want you, we're going to skip number 6 for right now. And I want you to go up to number 7 because number 7 is just like number 5. And I want you to do number 7. You're grown. We're on number 7. All right, number 7. What operation is going on with 8 and the variable?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. So how do we get rid of multiplication? How do we undo it?
Division.
We do division. So we're going to have to divide both sides by 8. What happens to the 8s over here on the left?
They mark out and then you have X equals.
So we have 4/5 divided by 8. And what do I need to do to my 8?
Add a 1.
Put a 1 under it. Now what do we have to do?
Keep change flip.
Keep, change, flip. Can I simplify before I multiply?
Yes, the 4 and 8.
So what's my answer?
1/10.
So x equals
1/10.
1/10. Okay? All right, so you have 6 more to complete on this paper, okay, that we did not complete together. So you are going to have to work on those 6. Why the puzzled face, Josh?